Reba McEntire has sold more than 35 million records. She's received all of her profession's major awards and packs auditoriums around the country and the world. Her newest film, Forever Love, airs Sunday here on CBS, and it's always a pleasure to have Reba in the chair on the Late Late Show here at CBS. Thanks for coming in. Nice to see you again.
My pleasure.
You were almost Molly Brown in Titanic, I read today, except fate and time got in the way. What happened there?
Well, I went in, I auditioned for James Cameron and had a real good time visiting with him. And he said, yeah, you got the part. And then turned it over to the agencies and the managers and everything, and they were trying to figure out the scheduling when they needed me for the filming. He said, need you 3 months right here. And then later on they came back and said, well, we don't need this 3 months, we need this 3 months. Well, we'd already moved all of our shows.
All your concert dates and such, yeah.
And then it just worked out to where you have to pay the payroll. And
yep. Did you see the picture, though?
I saw the movie. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, hey, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be.
And, you know, I walked out of that movie theater thinking it was a wonderful movie. Kathy Bates did an excellent job.
Yep.
And it was just not meant to be.
You know, the last time you were here, that we were together, we talked about your family. And we talked about some of the eccentricities in your family. And in reading about your book and parts of it this afternoon, you talk about your grandmother having a transformation when she used to go to church. Well, what happened to your grandmother?
Well, Grandma was a holiness. It's a form of Pentecostal belief, religion. And she was is the most spiritual woman I've ever known in my life. The next person, and maybe that's running a close race, is my mother-in-law, Gloria Blackstock. They're very spiritual, very close to God women. And Grandma spoke in tongues.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and when I'd stay all night with her, we'd be, you know, saying our prayers, and she'd be on her knees praying, and pretty soon she'd start talking in tongues. And when she got through, I'd say, Grandma, who are you talking to? She said, well, I was talking to Jesus. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, but now when she talked in tongues, what did it sound like? Can you give me
like a foreign language.
Oh, I got you. And she would just lapse into this after a certain amount of time in church. Did she ever get in trouble for it?
Oh, yeah. I think she was asked to leave one church, and then she
Because some churches frown on that.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people don't believe in it, but then a lot of people do.
And we also talked about the time that you spent on the ranch in Oklahoma growing up. Was there a lot of male chauvinism on the ranch? You know, usually guys are tough and they're in charge and they kind of take over things. Well,
on the ranch there in Oklahoma, all of us girls had to do the same jobs as the guys. We had to work just as hard as they did. We were required to do the same jobs that they did, but we were also required to do the ladies' jobs too.
Cooking.
Yeah, cooking and cleaning and taking care of everything.
So what would happen at a certain time during the day when you're out working the herd? Would they say, okay, Reba, it's time to go in and start cooking?
Well, they would usually ask Alice to go cook, because Alice was the oldest, and then it was Paik, the only boy, and then me and Susie was the baby. And usually it was Alice's responsibility, if Mama wasn't at the house, for Alice to go up and cook, because she's the oldest girl. One time, Alice was going somewhere, and Daddy looked over at me about 11 o'clock, 11:30, and said, Reba, go on up to the house and cook us some dinner. We called lunch dinner, and supper was our late meal.
Right.
And so I said, are you sure? Yeah, go and cook us some. So I went up there, and when everybody got to the dinner table, there was about 6 kinds of beans out there. And Daddy said, Reba, you partial to beans? And I just went into the cabinet and kind of opened every can I could find, so I didn't know what else to cook.
Probably was the last time you were asked to cook, huh?
Yeah, I got out of that job real quick.
How's your son Shelby doing? He's 8 years old now?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, I called him a while ago, and he'd just been to a hockey game.
Oh, good.
We've got a hockey team in Nashville now, the Predators, and he is so excited he can't hardly stand it.
Does he play the sport or try to?
He plays ice hockey very well. He's a lot like me in the aggressive department, but he's getting in there doing a lot better. He's been playing just for a year now.
Yeah. Now, what's the story? You found out you were pregnant in Mexico?
When I got pregnant with Shelby?
With Shelby, or you were in Mexico?
Yeah, we were in Mexico, and Narvel and I both kind of got the Montezuma's revenge, and
oh, the Green Apple Quick Step.
I've never heard it called that. Green Apple Quick Step.
Yeah, the Green Apple Quick Step, yeah.
We got that, but when we got back home, I still had it, and Narvel got over his, and I went to the doctor, and I found out I was pregnant. So don't go to Mexico if you're not planning on family.
And from what I've heard and reading about it, it was a tough time for you. You had to, you went into contractions very, very early on.
Well, yeah, I was touring, and then I toured for the first 5 months of my pregnancy. And then I went to the doctor, and he said, whoa, you better get horizontal, stay in bed, and don't do anything else, you know, just stay in bed. And but I'd hung by my toes for that child. I wanted a healthy, happy baby.
Hey, the hockey player of the future, huh?
You bet.
Now, when you and your husband married, he had children, right? How tough was it for you to, you know, blend with his kids? Because you're really not their new mother, you're their father's new wife.
Right, right. You know, I was married once before and had 2 stepchildren, and that was a great training period for me, because when I married Narvel and he had 3 children, it made me realize that I'm not their mother.
Right.
I just need to be their friend and help them out through this transition of, you know, of the divorce and going through all that and trying to help them as much as possible. And it was really a rough start. You know, we weren't all buddies and friends, and it wasn't easy at the beginning, but now we are.
Were they against you for a time, though, or kind of wary of you?
A little resentful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because...
encroaching on their lives,
exactly.
on your father's time, that
Disrupting
sort of thing.
their whole livelihood, which they knew. But it all turned out very well, and we're all very close now.
How'd you win them over? Little tricks? Make a speech? Hey, kids?
No, being consistent, being fair, and Narvel and I sticking together and not letting them play one against the other.
Got you.
That was very important.
And what about his family? Way back, his great-great-grandfather, I read, was quite a character.
Uh-huh. I think you're talking about the story when he was getting really sick and ill, and he had all of his kids in. He was going to tell them
where the money was.
Well, he was going to split up the money.
Right.
Well, and
which is an
when he
important
was
time,
sick,
you know.
very, very important. Well, when he was sick, he found out that they'd already started planning the funeral. I think that's what happened. And Narvel's mom told me this story, and I put it in my book. I thought it was so interesting. And well, when he found out they'd already started planning the funeral, he got mad at him and then wouldn't even discuss, you know, splitting the money up. So then he got better and got all his money out of the bank and hid it. He buried it. And so then he got sick again. He said, well, bring all the kids in. I'm going to tell them where I hid the money. And he died.
Oh, dear.
Without telling anybody. And so Narvel's great-great-grandmother, I think it was Mamaw Blackstock, went and, you know, was trying to find this money. All of them did. And she went to a fortune teller. And the fortune teller said, it's by a body of water.
That could be a lot of places.
Well, they had a large place, and so everybody, the whole community came in and helped them start digging up the place around the ponds and the creeks trying to find this money. Well, they couldn't find it, so they gave up. Years later, she went to another fortune teller, and the woman told her it was in a cistern in the house behind a certain wall, and if she moved this panel in the wall, she could find it. And sure enough, she went in there exactly where the fortune teller told her. You know, the cistern is where they held the water on the old farmhouses. And Mamaw Blackstock, she put all the money in in 2 big paper grocery sacks and took off towards town walking with these 2 paper sacks full of money, and went to the bank, walked into the president's office and said, would you deposit this for me?
So the fortune teller was right. It was, and how much was in there? Do we know?
I don't know that.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Huh? Sounds good, doesn't it?
That's a good figure.
Now, do you still have the racehorses?
No, we got out of the racehorse business. We never did get to see them race. And if you can't go watch your racehorses race, then it cuts out a lot of the fun.
What was the favorite horse you ever had?
Oh, we had one named Kiowa Cowboy. Had one called Chalky Mountain, and then Rich Man's Gold was the best one we had.
And when you say the best one you had, what was his record? And would he have qualified to run in any of the big races, like the Triple Crown races or things like that?
Well, he did race in the Arkansas Derby, and if he'd won a place like first, second, and third in the Arkansas Derby, then he could have gone to the Kentucky Derby. And then if he'd done something like that, then he could go on. But when we got to the Arkansas Derby, he came out of the gates and his ears went forward, and that was not a good sign. And then he started looking around, and that was even a worse sign. And so that went downhill from there.
Yeah, we're out of the racehorse business. We are chatting here with Reba McEntire, who'll be seen in the CBS movie on Sunday called Forever Love, which we will get to, and to you on the toll-free right after this short timeout. With Reba McEntire, here's Bill on the toll-free in Boston. Hi, Bill, and welcome to CBS Late Night. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, Bill. Hope you are, too.
I am. I'm sitting here watching your show right now.
That would be correct, Bill.
Hi, Reba. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm sitting here relaxing.
Good.
How relaxed are you, Bill?
My question is, if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing now today?
Oh, I have no earthly idea.
Open stairs.
Oh, Lord, I hope not. I wasn't very good at that. I had my degree in elementary education, but all the kids in Oklahoma have been buying my records religiously ever since I got in the music business, so I won't come back to teaching school. So I don't know what I'd do. I would think I would be in the business
When you were
some way.
growing up, did you have aspirations to be in this business?
Always.
Oh, you did? So this is a dream come true. This is an achievement in your life.
This is the only thing I could do halfway decent.
Right. So you never wanted to be like, well, you have elementary education, but you never wanted to be a salesperson or an accountant or an attorney or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that.
No. I did want to be a world's champion barrel racer.
All right.
I wanted to carry on the tradition of world champion cowboys in the family. And I wanted to be the best in the basketball. I wanted to be in the WBA. I wanted to be the best basketball player in the world. And I'd go to basketball camps, and I practiced, and Lord knows I needed all the help I could get. But I just never was that good at it. I had a lot of try in me. I just didn't have much talent.
You and your boys shoot hoops at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelby loves basketball.
Yeah. Anyway, Bill, continue to relax, okay?
Thank you.
All right, sir. Good night now, and
Have a good night,
thanks for watching, Bill. Bye-bye. All singers who performed in the early years of their careers played venues that were less than spectacular. I'm sure you played your share of saloons and honky-tonks where the guys were tough and the drinking was hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I had my fill of that. We were playing lots of clubs, lots of rodeos. We'd play before the rodeo ever started, and there would be a tractor out disking up the arena that you couldn't hear anything but the hum of the tractor. And we've played in clubs that were so smoky you couldn't see the people dancing on the floor.
How about clubs where fights broke out?
Lots of that. We were trained early on by Clark Ryan, our music teacher, Oklahoma history teacher, and art teacher there at Kiowa, Oklahoma. He would kind of teach us little tricks of the trade, and he said, all right, now if you're on the bandstand and you're on like stage left and there's a fight breaking out on the left, then you go stage right and divert the attention.
Good advice from, what was his name again?
Clark Ryan.
Good advice from Clark Ryan. Christina on the toll-free in Philadelphia. Hi, Christina, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, good evening, Tom.
Good evening, Christina.
Ms. McEntire.
Oh, you can call me Reba.
I'll never remember how you upset the waitresses when you used to come into the pub restaurant. You were so handsome. Miss McEntire?
Oh, excuse me. Whoa. Do that again. I didn't hear what you said, Christina.
I said you're still as handsome as you were when you used to come in the restaurant, the pub restaurant in Philadelphia, and upset all those waitresses.
Oh, okay.
I know, I was one of them.
I thought I heard the word drunk escape your lips.
No, I wouldn't dare. Well, anyway, Miss McEntire.
Yes.
Listening to your beautiful religious background, I can see how you can come out and run a family and look so beautiful and look like you really enjoy your singing. It's such a pleasure to watch you. You are an asset to your business.
Well, thank you very much. That's
I
very
really
sweet of you
mean
to
that
say
from the
that.
bottom of my heart.
Thank
and right
you.
now you're sitting there looking like a teenager.
I love this woman.
So do I. So do I.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, honestly, and I'm glad I finally got through to you, Mr. Tom Snyder, after so many months of trying to get through.
Well, thank you, Miss Christina. Now, what was the name of the restaurant I used to walk into?
The pub restaurant on Chestnut Street.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all those girls used to ooh and ah. And
Oh,
I was one of
come
them.
on. Oh,
Oh, no,
please.
I'm serious. I was one of them. I should know.
Well, you sure kept it a secret, kid. You know, if you'd have
Well-
made this more public, I might still be in Philadelphia.
Well, you see how you are now? Well, you still have a chance to come back. What can I do to bring you back here? Tell me. I'll do it.
3 guesses, kid. The first 2, no. If I'm coming back, Christina, I'll give you a holler, okay?
I'm gonna listen for it.
Are you still at the restaurant?
Oh, no, that's been out of business for years. That's been out of business for years. We missed you, all you guys from KYW.
All
You all
right.
came in there.
All right, Christina. It brings back memories, and thanks for calling, young
It
lady.
was my pleasure to get through, and I wish you, whatever you have in the future, I certainly wish you a lot of luck. You deserve it.
Thank you, Christina. God
Good night,
bless.
Miss McEntire.
Good night.
And keep on singing. You're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Good night,
bye-bye.
Christina. What
Bye-bye.
what a nice lady.
You
huh?
bet.
Now, you and your husband, I'm told, recently took a trip to Europe, including a tour of Ireland. Was it a tour of Ireland?
Yeah, pretty much so. The southern part of Ireland. We went over there for about 4 or 5 days, and we spent 9, 10 hours in a car driving all over that part of the Ireland and seeing as much as we possibly could.
Was it your first trip there?
Uh-huh.
I've never been, but everybody I know who's
Gorgeous.
been there, whether they're Catholic or Protestant, you know, Jew or Christian, black or white, they love Ireland.
It's something about that country. The people are so nice, warm and friendly.
I've heard that.
Just wonderful. We fell in love with it.
And did you go to any pubs while you were in Ireland?
I sure did. You know, I told them, we went over there to do a publicity tour because we're going to go over there and tour in January. And I told Norval, I said, before we leave Ireland, we got into Dublin, I said, I want to go to a traditional Irish pub.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. And all of us ordered the Guinness beer. We were sitting there drinking our beer, and this lady came up to me, and she was part of the band. And she said, Miss McEntire, would you please come up and do a song with us? And I said, oh, well, you know, I don't know. And I said, I tell you what, I'm coming back in January. Won't you give me a song, a title, and I'll go home and I'll learn it. And she, oh, no, you're going to come up and sing right now with us. And I said, well, let me think about it. And I said, she said, well, we're going to go back up right now. And I said, well, what are you going to sing? She said, oh, Danny Boy. I said, I'll come up and sing with you. So all there was for the band was she was playing the guitar, and then a young lady was playing the accordion, and an elderly gentleman was playing the fiddle. And that was the band. So no microphones at all. And so I got up and I sang "Oh Danny Boy," and of course she wanted me to sing another one, and I tried to do 2 or 3 more.
That's very sweet, though, you know?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just that kind of atmosphere where, like, you know, it didn't matter if you forgot the words or, you know, people would come up and whisper to me in my ear.
Yeah,
And
what's the
it was
difference?
fun.
People were having a good time, and I'm sure they loved your being there.
Well, I love being there.
Now, this picture, Forever Love, you played the part of a woman who's been in a coma for 20 years? How do you fake a coma?
Well, women are pretty good at faking stuff.
You know, I've heard that, but yeah, you know.
A coma's different. Okay.
Well, I mean, a coma's 20 years. The others are, you know, not that quick, not that long.
Well, it was the best 2 or 3 days of the filming, I promise you, because all I had to do is just lay there and kind of rest. It's easy, except for one take. I was laying there, and the director, Michael Switzer, said, "Okay, action," and this is when I'm supposed to be waking up, and Tim Matheson walks over to me, and I'm trying to wake up, and all of a sudden my stomach goes. It was 30 minutes before lunch, and Michael Switzer says, "Cut." And I looked up and said, "Michael, if you'd feed me every once in a while and still have this, you know, this bag up here, this IV bag, my stomach wouldn't growl. It wouldn't cause so much problems." And it was just so hysterical. It was so loud, you know, it echoed in the room. But it was a really neat movie to get to do.
It sounds neat. It sounds neat. I just wish we would hear the stomach growl as part of the outtakes when they roll the credits, as they often do, you know?
That would be too funny.
In any event, it's always a joy to be in your company, Miss McEntire.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming over, and much luck and success with the picture on Sunday night and with the tour of Ireland when you go there in 1999.
Thank you.
Okay, Reba McEntire is the guest. The picture is called Forever Love. You'll check the listings for CBS on Sunday night. We'll be right back with Marcia Kite in the aftermath of Oklahoma City after these messages.
One good